If there is any problem of seeing about the PPT in the screen or my voice is not clear, please notify. And before that, now we have not yet started with our continuous assessment. Therefore, I just wanted you all to get into groups of 10 members, right? In a group, have 10 members, and the group list to be emailed, or even you can WhatsApp, and or maybe I can create an LMS, whatever possible way that you have to let me know your group as well as the group members, and you can of course name the group of concentrating on marketing aspects, like it can be the product or it can be the segmentation or whatever. Just as an example, I am giving about the names, but not necessarily those names to be appear, but it can be market relevant concept names. If you are given for the group, then I would appreciate more on that, right? So you give me the group and the group members, right? So I will let you know what assignment or what sort of activity that you have to involve. Okay. Right. So today we move into the fifth session, that is to be on consumer market and consumer buyer behavior, or it can be consumer buying behavior. Okay. Now, already we have understood, or already we have come to know there are different types of markets, and those markets to be divided into major type of two. One to be the consumer buying market or consumer market, another one to be the business market, right? So in the business market, there are some markets which are coming under that category, but consumer market, of course, the people who are consuming the products or services or whatever marketing elements to be consumed for the final usage. So thereafter, there is no any usage of the consumption that they have had it. So those type of markets that we are putting under the category as consumer market, right? But really, the consumer market is different from business market, and therefore, the consumer buying behavior of this market, that is the consumer market, tend to be different from the business market or business buyer behavior, right? So that has only made us to more understand of not to consider the whole market together. We know the market cannot be same as, so we have a differentiation or differences in the market, and for our easy understanding, we have divided the market into two, as organizational and consumer market. And as a consequence, that we have also identified two buying behavior, one to be the consumer buyer behavior and other one to be the business buyer behavior, right? So there are two buying behavior we have to really go through, and that will be helping us, or as a marketer, that will be helping us to devise again the marketing program to be more effective. If you have not understood the behavior, that is why now even at your second year you are studying about OB, organizational behavior, right? So the purpose of studying the organizational behavior is to understand how the people behave in the organization at the individual level, at the group level, even at the organizational level. So what is the behavior? So if we are not aware about the behavior, then of course it is very difficult for us to make about activities or make about the course of actions which are compatible with their behavior. So we have to first understand. So that is why even in the marketing, the same principle that we are applying, we are our ultimate people who are going to buy is the consumers, right? So if we are not knowledgeable about the consumers, then of course, how that would be possible for us to devise the marketing strategy. So, of course, there is a concern rising out of it, right? So, that is the reason that we have to know about the market's character, that is, of course, the consumer market, and plus to that, understand about the components or the components behavior. So, very importantly, in the consumer market, the constituents are going to be the consumers. So, we have to really know about the buying behavior of the consumer. So, that is what we are going to discuss and learn in this particular session. So the we have moved into the first. We are moved into the fifth section. So the fifth section is, of course, allocated to study about the market. Right. So basically, what we will be learning here is the model for the consumer behavior, because having about the model, it is again facilitating us to understand what and what aspects have to be studied, and not only that, how it is been related with each other, right? So the elements which that we have to go through and how those elements are connected with each other can be easily understood if there is a model. So it is of course here required to have a model to study about the consumer behavior. So we are going for the model of a consumer behavior. And also identifying what are the characteristics that is really having an influence over consumer behavior, right? So we first go through the elements, and then we further move into identify the characteristics. So what sort of features that is having an impact on the consumer behavior. And besides that, we also will get what you call an understanding over the buying decision behavior. So there are like four types mainly we will come across. So those four types of buying decision behavior we will be looking at. And further to that, this is also the main item and the main aspect here. That is about the buyer decision process. So when an consumer making about a purchase decision, we are just merely known that he make about the purchase decision, right? So that moment only we will really have an understanding about. But really, before the purchase decision also, he is going through some of the activities, and once that the purchase happens also, he is going into further activities, right? So before the purchase also things are happening, after the purchase also things are happening. Therefore, it is essential for us to look into all, right? How? That is what is going to give us an idea what is his behavior or what type of behavior these people are having, right? If they are happen to be the final consumer, what sort of behavior that they are having about can be really understood by looking into this buyer decision process, right? And not only that, whether this decision process, even for the new products, right? Of course, in the previous sections, we will be discussing over the repeated purchase, what sort of behavior that he is having about. But in case if it is a new product, uh, are these process are going to be same or whether it would be different have to be also taken into consideration, right? So this is what we are overall going to cover under this particular section. Okay, right. Now we will first move into the model, right? The model of consumer behavior. Of course, the consumer buying behavior, we can say it is, of course, the buying behavior of the final consumer, right? You have to be very careful when you are writing the answers also, right? Whether that to be the business consumer or to be the final consumer, right? Really, the business consumer is different from the final consumer. I think by this time that you would have got that clearance, right? So business consumers are really different from the final consumers, right? So these final consumers, so who those final consumers could be? They may be individual, right? And also the household. Most of the time, they are individuals and household who buy the goods and services for the personal consumption. So, personal consumption in the sense, with their consumption, that product will come to a termination or will come to an end. Further, there is no any process that would take place in the products or services or whatever items that has been marketed or purchased with. Right? So try to understand this particular concept that final consumers are the constituents of the consumer market, and those people are individuals and households. Most of the time they are households, and they are purchasing of the goods and the services for their personal consumption, right? So therefore the consumer market would be all these personal consumption final consumers. The consumer market would be the constituents who are purchasing about for their personal consumption, and they to be the final consumers, right? So we know now very clearly what is consumer market and of course what is the consumer buying behavior. Of course, if you move into the model now once that we have to get introduced into the model of consumer behavior. But before that model to be introduced, these are some terminologies which that we have to get very familiar with, right? Consumer buyer behavior and the consumer market. And now, when you're talking about this model, consumers are making about this buying decision or purchasing decision, right? It may be time to time or every day that they make about. And also, this buying decision is the focal point for the marketer's effort. Now, if those people are not making about a purchase decision, then we don't have an avenue or we don't have a place to market or penetrate or maybe influence on them, right? So the foremost importance here is that they are making about the decision, right? The consumers are making about the buying decision, and because of that only, we have an avenue or we have a place to make our marketing activities, right? So who is the determinant here? That to be the consumers, right? The consumers buying decision are only the very crucial one for the marketers in order to plan and execute their marketing programs. Okay, so this is also another important aspect for us to know about. Right, it is said that most large companies research consumer buying decision in great detail to answer questions about what consumers buy. Right. So it is of course the possibilities and what you call the opportunity for the very large organization to carry out a research, that is market and research activities. They are already that we have studied about the marketing research. The previous section has been concentrated on doing about the marketing research, and from that you come to understand many of the things. And even in order to know about the consumer behavior, the marketing research is very, very essential. So we come to know what is his behavior towards our product and what is his behavior towards the competitor's product, how his preference is changing, whether that is different from country to country, place to place, or maybe with respect to marketing mix, right? Number of things that you may able to get when you undertake a marketing research. But here, mostly this marketing research, rather than small companies carrying out that, the big as well as the larger companies have the possibilities of carrying out, right? So they really wanted to find out in great detail about their buying behavior. That is, why consumers, what the consumers are buying, right? Most of the time, what the consumers are buying and also why that they are buying, right? So marketers can study the actual consumer purchases to find out, right? So as marketers, or since that we are involved in the marketing activity, we have to have a component called as collecting of information, right? So that is what we have already specified. Or the sources where that we can get the information is either it can be through the marketing intelligence or by database, that is the internal records that the organizations are having. Plus to that, the very crucial source is to be the marketing research, right? So the purchase that they have about can be really understood, right? But learning about why of consumers buying behavior is not so easy, right? So even, I mean, what wanted to be stressed under this particular situation is that the marketing research will help us to get about the information that we really wanted, right? And the information that we are getting mostly, or the larger proportion, will be covering about what consumers or what the consumers are really buying, right? But of course, the why these people are buying or why these people's behavior remain to be as this is not that easier to understand, right? Why these people are buying about, what is the reason behind this, what is the background behind this, right? Those sort of information together, of course, is not that easier, right? So therefore we have to actually move deeper into studying about the consumer buying behavior, and from that understanding we can search for information. So what is the avenue that we have to search for information? Either it can be internal records or to have the marketing intelligence, or it may be even through the marketing research. So here, the very crucial or main question for the marketers is that how do consumers respond to various marketing efforts the company might use? Now, our problem as a marketers is to develop various marketing efforts. In the sense, we are developing about various marketing plans. Okay, there are different plans. So, how the plans would be developed? By considering the marketing mix, right? What sort of product and where it is going to be available, that is the place decision, and how you are going to promote about the particular product, that is, of course, the promotional P, and of course, how that you are going to price it. Okay, so it is not going to be similar for all of the products or for all of the services that we are having. So therefore, there is different marketing effort or different marketing programs. Okay, therefore, it is very essential for the marketer to understand of these different marketing efforts. That means of these different marketing plans, how that the consumers are going to respond. Now, since that we are being given as option, there are 4 elements available for us, right? We can handle or we can use those 4 elements. Okay, then how those elements should be is the decision we have to make about. And the elements like usage of it, or how that we are connecting those elements together, have to be prepared with the understanding of this consumer behavior. If that behavior is not properly understood, then the efforts these marketers are making about may not be successful, right? So we have to understand the underlying factor. These efforts have to be fruitful. So in order to make the fruitful efforts, that is the marketing program or marketing effort, it can be alternative terminologies that we are using about, it has to be responded. I mean, the consumers have to respond to that effort very positively or very favorably, that they have to do it, right? So for this we can take into as a starting point the stimulus response model of buyer behavior, right? So we have said we have to use about the model for the consumer behavior. Now here we are starting with a model called as the stimulus response model of buying behavior, right? So the model which that we are using in order to understand about the consumer buying behavior or consumer behavior is called as what? Stimulus response model of buyer behavior, right? So under this model, what happens is, regarding of the marketing and other stimulus, right? When that is entering into the consumer's black box, don't worry if you don't understand, I will show about the diagram, and from that you can take it up easily, right? But really for the understanding, at the first hand, uh, we uh, we describe this as the marketing. Marketing means marketing effort, right? And other stimulus. Marketing effort will create marketing stimulus, right? What is meant by stimulus? By looking at that, or by the price you are attracted with the place that you are attracted, you are stimulated, means you are induced to purchase, right? So it can be the marketing stimulus, or even it can be other stimulus also. Now if I am hungry, I have to purchase something to eat, no? So that is my individual stimulus. At the same time, when you go to the boutique and see about a parcel of biryani is available, now the product, how the product is being prepared, right? By seeing of that, you are getting attracted with, right? So either it can be marketing efforts or it can be other stimulus. When it is been entering into the black box, I will show about the black box and the elements of that, and produce certain responses. So this is what we call it as stimulus. What is stimulus here? The marketing and other stimuli, right? Marketing efforts and other efforts, or other what you call wanted things, right? Will stimulate, and from the stimulus, right, you have a response, right? So once that it goes into the black box of the consumers, and there will be a response. So this is a short form of explaining about the model of consumer behavior. So the model to be the stimulus response model. Okay, so you know what is stimulus, right? So marketers really want to understand how the stimulus are changed into response inside the consumers black box, right? So the black box, of course, is the very crucial aspect from the consumers that we are seeing about. But marketers, what you call requirement is once that these stimulants are going into the black box, right? How that the response will be changing. So observing about the behavior of the consumer, right? So first, the buyer's characteristics influence on how he or she perceive and reacts to the stimuli, right? So one is, of course, now this is of course going to explain about the black box, right? In the black box, there are two important things. One is to be the buyer's characteristics, and other one to be the buyer's decision process. So, decision process I have already told you in a brief. Before you make about the purchase decision, also there are many activities the consumer will be going through, and once that the purchase has been made, also he will be going through some of the activities. So that is, of course, the buyer's decision process. Not only that process will be having an effect, but also the buyer's characteristics also can be changing. Okay. Now just see about this diagram like for 5 minutes. Right. I have given what this model is called as. What this model is called as. What this model is called as. Stimulus response model. Students, really, do you understand this? I don't mind of explaining again and again. But really what I wanted you all to understand. I can go on explaining again and again. It's not an issue for me. But you have to say whether that you got the point. Now what is this? This is stimulus. Where is stimulus? This is stimulus. Right? So marketing stimuli is there and other stimuli also can come into. Right? So under marketing stimuli, we have seen about the marketing mix elements, right? Product, price, place, promotion, right? Under other stimuli, we have seen economic, technological, social, and cultural, and even other factors. So this is stimulus. And once this stimulus enter into the buyer's black box, why it is called as black box? Any idea? Anyone want to respond to this question? Why called as black box? Hmm? Why called as black box? MS61, unmute yourself. 61, any idea? Why called as black box? Huh? Oh, need a bottle. I have already told, not necessary your answers to be correct, absolutely correct. You can try. I know that you are an intelligent student, right? You can try. And especially you are studying about OB also, no? HR is in your second semester, isn't it? Why called as black box? MS 51. MS 51 is not there.
Ma'am,
Com 6, unmute yourself. If you are not unmuting, I will remove. Com 6. Com 6, are you there? Com 6. I'm removing. Com 8.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why it is called as black box? At least unmute yourself now. What is this? Com 8, yeah, you did a correct thing. Unmuting, right? Any idea? Why black box? Com 43. Com 43. Wait, I don't know all these. Com 43. Com 43. Just getting connected and have gone somewhere. Com 58. Com 58. No, no, just killing my time. Com 60. Com 60. 60, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, Any idea?
Product mix.
Sorry, Amma?
Product mix.
Product mix.
Yeah.
I was asking why this, what you call the consumer black box, it is called. Why we call it as black box. Come 131. Come 131. Remove. Wait, remove most of the people. Come 164. 164. I just wasted. Yeah, who is this? MS 73.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. A good answer that you have typed in the chat. You could have told it. Yes, sir. MS 72. Why am I it is called as a black box? 73.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Your idea. Why called as black box?
Because at that point, ma'am, buyers are making decisions. So they are thinking to their buying decisions. So we cannot see what is going on their mind. So I thought that's why it is called black box.
This is your idea, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you refer anywhere or just that came to your mind?
Just came my mind.
That's very nice.
That's why I put that on the chat. ma'am.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Then putting in the chat, I would prefer you all talking. Okay. Right, so that's how, right? What is coming up in your mind that you must come out. First thing is you have to be forward. You have to come out. You all are not like school children. No. Now you all are going to be graduates, right? Now you are in the second year, not even the first year. Second year, you all have come. So whatever that comes into your mind, we are not going to scold, no. We will be seeing whether your answer to be correct or not, right? If it is correct, we will say yes, it's correct, good. If it is wrong, we will try to correct it, right? Not that all the people are thinking in a perfect way. Today I may think in a perfect way, but tomorrow I may not, right? So that is common for everyone. So whatever like comes in your mind, that you must come out. That is how the management graduates have to be, no? You cannot just hide or you cannot just write and put something. Then and there at that point, you must give your ideas or you must answer into the situation and you have to show that you are capable enough. Okay, 73, yes, because what you said was correct in the sense why it is said to be a black box. Why? In the consumer, what is this model called as? Stimulus response model, right? So now at the first box, it is indicating the stimulus, and the third box is indicating about the response, right? So once that the stimuli is entering into the black box, that is what the theory that they have found out. The black box means it's very difficult for us to understand, and very particularly in these two aspects. bias characteristics also, we are not very knowledgeable about ourselves, isn't it? Today, we may be thinking in this way. Tomorrow, our thoughts will be entirely different. So, but knowing about ourselves is really a challenging one. So, how that we can know about others' thoughts, others' behavior, others' response, right? So, in that context only, we are saying that to be the black box. It's very, very complicated for us to understand. Now we have put those two elements into a black box. So once that this stimuli enters into the black box, then the bias response may be different, right? So their buying attitudes and preference can be different. Their purchase behavior can be different. So purchase behavior with respect to what the buyers are buying, when that they are buying, where that they are buying, how much that they are buying, right? Different response that we can get. And even regarding of the brand and the company relationship, right? Also, there may be a different response coming out. Okay, so this is what we are really going to understand. Maxima, we will try to understand each of these elements so that at least we have an understanding, right? But it is there. But in reality, of course, coming to know about these facts is not that easier. But still, it is our duty to know what it is in. What are the things which is there that at least have to be understood, right? So now the stimulus response model has been brought in front of you. Okay, now we move on looking into that. Okay, if you take about the characteristics which are influencing, that of course there are a number of factors. The factors are really grouped here for us to have a easier understanding. So cultural factors, social factors, personal factors, and psychological factors. Ishwaran? Right? Huh. Sure. 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 Okay. Right. So the factors, of course, influencing factors are being categorized here, which is coming under culture and social, personal, psychological. Right. So these are the factors which are going to affect about the bias, right? Characteristics or characters that are affecting about the bias. Right. If you take the culture, there is culture, subculture, social classes. Social, the reference groups are there, family, roles and status. Personal, regarding of age, occupation, economic, there are many things. Even if it is psychological, motivation, perception, learning, right? So these are many things that we have to really go through. I don't know whether we'll be able to, fulfill the understanding of all these factors, but still something which is possible by myself, I will try to deliver. But in addition to that, you can have questions and question me also, or that you can refer to the books, right? So culture, of course, is really the basic cause of person's wants and behavior. from the culture that he has brought up, most of the things are also the purchasing things, or the purchase behavior is also most of the time reflecting about the culture from where that person is coming, right? So actually, from the small to the grown up, right, they are learning about the values, perceptions, wants, and behavior from the family where that they are being brought up, and also some institutions that they are associating, right? So it can from the family they may have the schools, or they may have the worship places, right? They may have the relatives, and they may have what you call the villages or whatever, right? So from there people are learning many of the aspects. So the perceptions now, sometimes some products they perceive to be bad. Why it is said to be bad? There may be no any reason that to be bad, but of course, because that he has brought up from that culture, he will just say the particular product is not good for purchasing, right? There may be some reason behind that, of course, but despite of that, the culture also can play about some influences, right? The subcultures, of course, it is not only from the culture, subcultures are also there, which are groups of people within the culture, maybe sharing about certain values, right? Not only now, say for an instance, we belong to one religion, okay? So that is a culture. But of course, within that, there can be subgroups, right? Now say for an instance, if it is what do you call religion of Catholic, right? So there may be people who are worshiping about the statues, and people are not worshiping about the statues. So there is a group, right? Though that they fall into one group, but within that group also there are subgroups. So it is called as subculture. So subcultures also may have some influences. And further to that, you can see about the social classes, where in the society, right? So there are some divisions, right? Social classes, now we'll say high class, low class, middle class, right? And of course, some may like called to be like blue collar workers, white collar workers. There are many divisions, right? So because that we are belonging into such divisions, we may also have different characters built, right? So our characteristics can change, or our character can be defined because that we belong into a certain class. Now, say for an instance, since we are academics, right, our behavior is of course similar to the behavior of other academics, because we are learning that to be practiced by ourselves, right? So likewise, as we belong to certain, if we belong to the university, or the University of Eastern, right? Because of being Eastern, there is some of things that we will be learning out, right? So we will be practicing, or by our behavior or our character, people will be identifying these people belong to this particular university, something like that, because there are exclusive, right, unique characters that comes out because being in that particular division, right? So now say sometimes it can be the occupation that we have, the income, the education, the wealth, right? Other variables can have the social classes. So therefore the social classes also have an influence on, right? And of course the second one, that is the actually the grouping, right? So we may have the groups and the social networks. So there is membership groups, there is aspirational groups, and also there is reference group. Now, membership groups, of course, we have a direct influence, right? For the reason that we belong into that. We are the members, right? Aspirational group, of course, we are not actually presently as members, but we have the desire to be members in the future. So that group is called as aspirational group. So what will happen? We will try to have the characters of that particular group, right? If we reflect on that characters only, no, those people in the future will be taking us as members. So we will try to have those characters. We will try to embed those characters in our self, right? And reference group, of course, the groups that form a comparison or reference in forming attitudes or behavior. Now, reference groups, of course, in some instances, it is very difficult for us to decide on certain things. But of course, that we refer into some of the people. So most of the time, it is said to be reference group, where these reference groups will be getting information and making about a comparison and having the what you call idea and attitudes towards that. Right now, say for an instance, if there are many brands available in the laptop category, these reference groups will get information and say these brand to be good, these brand to be bad, and these brand to be in an average level performance. So if we are going to purchase about something, or if we are going to have a idea about buying a laptop, we will refer into this group because we know that they have the information regarding of that. Right, and at the same time, there is of course word of mouth influence and buzz marketing also. There may be opinion leaders, right? So where that I was earlier referring about in the reference group, you have the opinion leaders, and those leaders may have some influence on, right? So it is up to the marketers to find out those opinion leaders and try to induce them for the purchase of their products. So if those products have been put into the minds of the opinion leaders, surely they will be recommending the particular product to the people who are referring them or asking about their opinion, right? Any case that you can give me as an example for this particular thing? Normally, it happens in the medical field. Can anyone tell me? What do the medical reps do? I mean, if we are patient, when we go to the doctor, whatever the doctor prescribe, we will be buying, isn't it? Because he is an opinion leader. In the sense, for our disease, that he knows what can be the solution, right? So therefore, these medical reps, what they do is, in order to market their medicine, they give some free samples to the doctors, isn't it? Won't you agree with my example? Students, if you speak only, I can speak. Otherwise, it is easier for me to shut down and go away. Don't you accept my example for these opinion leaders? this situation which I was describing? What is it? Right, so really the medical reps are approaching the doctors and giving about the free samples so that the doctors are getting convinced, right? Of course, the medicine is going to be same. There is no, difference on the medicine. The family name is same, but the brand name is different. So they wanted people to get convicted with a particular brand. Okay, so here even you can see that marketers identify them to be the brand ambassadors. So what is ambassadors work? To promote the particular, if you are an ambassador of the country, you promote about the particular country. Here, you to be the brand ambassador. Who is the brand ambassador? The opinion leader, right? So he will be considered by the marketer to be the brand ambassadors, right? And now, of course, this is online social networks which have like come into more interactions, right? Personalized and more feelingful. Okay, so what happens is through that networks we are trying to promote right now. Say for an instance, if you log into the Facebook, right, in the Facebook, the favorite YouTubes, if you are watching about, there are advertisements in between coming out. So what happens is, right, you get convicted with, right, if the advertisements are visualized, we don't have the intention of seeing. But if you are in a favorite program of yourself, for the break you have to actually see, right? So that is of course for the a short minute of time, no short second of time, right? Those things have been disclosed, right? So we are really like coming to know about the products and also induce about, right? So you can have blogs or you can have social network sites like Facebook, virtual worlds, whatever, right? Now coming to the social factors, of course, under social class that you could have considered social factors, of course, family is very important in the society. The family is identified to be the very special unit, and the family members influences can be there in the purchasing, or the characters of the person can be influenced by the family, right? Not only family, even the groups to which that you belong, the clubs that you belong, the organization where that you are working, right? So, and even the certain roles that you are taking out in these groups, in the family, or in the organization also can determine your character, right? So that of course that we understand. Then, if you move to the personal factors, right, occupation, of course, is a good aspect to influence the consumer's characters, and of course, the economical situation, right? So, where we to have more personal income, the savings to be higher, the interest rates to be differing with, right? So this economic situation also can determine our characters. Now say for an instance, if the purchasing power is higher with ourselves, our purchase pattern is going to be different, but it is vice versa. The purchasing power comes down, then our purchasing will be different. So our personal income will have a identification, our savings will be have an identification, and even our interest also. And the lifestyle, right, of the particular person, how that he is used to behave. So that is, of course, mainly described by the psychographics, right? So what sort of personality he is, what sort of values, attitudes, interests, and lifestyles that he is having about. So lifestyle, our lifestyle is not similar to the other person, right? Then, of course, the personality and self-concept, which that identifies the lifestyle, right? So the personality again can be said to be unique psychological characters, right? Sometimes some people are said to be introvert, some people to be extrovert, isn't it? Some people will speak nicely, right, with all the people, that they will get friendly even if the environment is new, right? So those people are called as extrovert people. Introvert people, they of course not easily will move to or move with people. Social interaction is very minimal. They will have everything to their self. Okay, so those people are those people are introvert people, right? So that is expressed by the personality. Okay, so personality also can determine the characteristics of the consumers. Now moving into the psychological factors. So we know motivation, perception, learning, belief, and attitude. I need not to explain because this is the first year lesson under management process that you would have studied. What is motivation? What is perception? Like learning, belief, and attitude. Right? Okay. So just to recapture what that you have learned, a motive is, of course, the need that is sufficiently pressing the person to direct himself to make it fulfill, right? So that is the motive. Now, say for an instance, if I wanted a comfortable working environment, if I am lacking of a comfortable working environment, I will be motivated to have about a comfortable environment. So suppose another job is being given for me having about a good working environment, then I know that I will quit my work with the present organization and join the other organization, right? So that is, of course, motivate or motivation. You are very familiar with the Maslow's one, no? Right? So by Maslow's hierarchical of need, that you know, certain needs, of course, will go in a hierarchical way. So when the basic needs have been fulfilled, only we are moving into the next level, higher level of needs to be fulfilled. And that is his theory, which has been brought into. And through this also, we can understand about the motivation. Perception, it's a process by which people select, organize, and interpret the information to form the meaningful picture. Now, this is depending on my perception. Now, say for an instance, okay, what an example I can put forward. Okay, now I had been removing the students who have not answered. Okay? For this action, how many people are now here? 139 people are here. Your perception will be different. It's not going to be same. Because why? The way that you are selecting, whether that activity to be good. Some people will say, the way the lecturer has acted is not good. It's bad. Some people will say that to be good, right? That is how it should be. Some may be like in between, right? You know, all the people are not going to have the same thought, right? So the reason behind that is perception, that how that we are selecting. What is the thing that we are selecting? What that we have seen, right? Now, how that we have organized those information within ourselves. And of course, then ultimately the interpretation we are giving about, right? So that is perception. Learning. This is, of course, the change that we are expecting. Actually, education is what? It's a learning, and we are expecting the students to change their behavior, right? So, this is also going to reflect the characters. And belief, of course, again to be a thought that the person has, right, based on these three things. It can be knowledge, opinion, and also the faith. Attitude. This gives about the person's relatively consistent evaluation, feelings and tendency towards an object and idea, right? So more attitude towards that, in the sense the person has evaluated the situation and he has formulated some feeling regarding of that. So that most of the time remains as consistent, right? So attitude may not change time to time, right? That's why even the government says in the university students, you have to change the attitude, right? Over the 4 years time, the learning that they have got, their attitude have to get some changes over, right? So what is our attitude? Most of the time, we after the graduation, we have to get government job. What is the government says? Right, after the graduation, you must be able to turn yourself into entrepreneurs. You to be the employers, not to be employees. Okay, you have to create ventures, you have to employ people, right? And being the entrepreneurs. So that is attitude. So now in the university students, we have to really change about the attitude. So I think you will understand what is meant by attitude. Okay, so attitude. So there is, of course, a consistency of the particular fact which is being brought into your eye or into your context. Right. So with this, we also moving little bit further to know about some types of buying decision behavior. Right. So what has been listed here is to be the 4 buying behavior. One to be the complex buying behavior, dissonance reducing buying behavior, habitual and variety seeking buying behavior. These are the 4 types of buying decision behavior we may be having. This we have arrived at based on 2 things. One is whether there is differences understood between the brands. That is, whether the differences are significant or not. Other one is what sort of involvement that we are having in order to purchase these products, right? So those are the 2 variables which have been taken in order to understand about the 4 types of buying behavior, right? 4 types of buying behavior to be understood, taking into 2 important factors, that to be the involvement as one, and other one to be the differences they find between the brands, right? So in the differences, if it is significant, there is again 2 extreme points can be found out. One to be the significant one, other one to be that not to be the significant, or that to be few, right? In the involvement, we have high involvement and lower involvement, right? That to be 2 extreme points. And based on those 2, on the involvement and 2 on the differences over the brands, you get about 4 buying behavior. Now, no need for me to explain what is the character, or what is, of course, the nature of these buying behavior, because depending on the box where it is being mapped, or depending on the box where it falls, you will get the understanding. When it is a complex buying behavior, the significance of differences between the brands are going to be very much higher, right? And we also have a high involvement of purchasing. That is the very wanted product or very expensive product, or it may be used for our status or whatever, right? So therefore that our involvement in buying that particular products or services would be higher. At the same time, uh, um, since that there are different brands available regarding of those products, right? There are to be significant differences. So if it is significant differences, we have to take more time to evaluate, isn't it? If few differences are there, we don't mind. For this time, we will buy this brand, and maybe for the second time, we can go for another brand. But of course, since the differences is very larger, then we have to move in a slower process of evaluating the alternative brands. So because of that reason, we can say the buying behavior to be complex, right? And in case if it is a lower involvement, this product is not a big thing for us. It is not that much of importance, or it is not reflecting on maybe our personality or status or whatever. We call this behavior to be the variety seeking buying behavior. Why it is variety seeking buying behavior? Lower involvement is there, right? So at one time we want one brand, and on the other time we may want another brand to be purchased. So that is called as variety seeking buying behavior, since our involvement in purchasing to be very much low, right? Then coming into the dissonance reducing buying behavior, here high involvement is there, but differences are being very much minimal, right? So what we try to do is that regarding of the dissatisfaction that we are having about, right, maybe in the brands, right, we try to change about from one to another, right? So that is we call it as dissonance reducing buying behavior. So this is variety seeking. This of course the dissonance reducing behavior means that even that we have a dissatisfaction regarding of the particular brand, we try to move it from one to another. Then finally, we can see the habitual buying behavior, lower involvement, few differences. So therefore, we get into the habit of buying those products. So there is no much of like interest in purchasing that, and we are not worried about having explode into different brands. So right or getting about the information of the brands that is available. Right. So these are said to be the four types. Okay. Now, if the what you call a common understanding I have given to you, if you just move into each of those behavior, you can find these sort of factors which may be reflected on, right? So here, complex buying behavior, we said that when the consumers are highly involved, and also the differences are being very much significant among the brands. So purchasers are highly motivated when product is expensive. I have already told you product is risky, and also the product is not purchased frequently, and also product is highly self-expressive, that is it is reflecting on the status. Dissonance reducing behavior, when people are highly involved with expensive, infrequent, risky purchase, but they see little differences among the brand, right? So same character that will be reflected of that one side. In that one side, you have two behavior. So the same behavior, I mean, same situation or same circumstances will be here also reflected, but they are not finding about much differences in the brand. Habitual, right? Lower involvement. So therefore, it will get into a repeated purchase without any knowledge or very much interest on that. Variety seeking, of course, lower involvement as well as significant differences that they are having. So up to now, what that we have seen in the black box, consumers black box, it is about bias characteristics, right? So with bias characteristics, we have also explored into the 4 types of buying behavior, right? So those 4 types of buying behavior, of course, was based on the involvement the consumers are having on purchasing of the products, as well as how much of differences they perceive between or among the brands that is available. So the differences to be significant and the differences not to be significant at all, right? So to that level that we have seen. So in the black box, one factor we have so far tried to understand, isn't it? Got it? Students, yes or no would be your answer. Form 55. Understood? 55 is not there. Form 60. Need not to remove. People are going. Form 68. Simple question now, whether you understood or not. Yes or no? MS 11. MS 11. Unmute yourself. MS 11. MS 15. MS 22.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So therefore, what would be the next for us to go with the buyer's decision process, isn't it? So in the buyer's decision process, if just we will try to have a brief understanding, that is the person, now you see at the fourth step only the purchase decision comes, right? But before the purchase decision, there are a number of stages the consumers is moving. Now, first to be the need recognition. Second one to be the information search. Third one to be the evaluation of alternative. Then only he is making about the purchase decision. And even after the purchase decision, the process doesn't end, right? It is being followed by another stage or another step called as post-purchase behavior, right? So, therefore, purchasing of the particular product or services is not a single activity. It's not a single activity, right? It is happening through a step-by-step activities. It's not a single activity. It is happening by step-by-step activities. So these steps, when you understand only, the marketers can penetrate into these particular steps or stages and try to make about the marketing effort as a successful one where the consumers will like get trapped into or get attracted into, right? So the steps have to be really understood by the marketer, and wherever possible regarding of the marketing requirements that they can move, right? So sometimes the need recognition, the marketers have to provide some information, right? Information search, when they are searching for information, the marketers have to able to give those information very accurately, very quickly. At the same time, these people also must be able to process that information, so the companies can or the marketers can facilitate that, right? Evaluation, when alternative products are there, alternative brands are there, how the consumers can evaluate, right? So what sort of information that is wanted, what is the steps that they have taken in order to evaluate those alternatives, right? So that sort of things. Then the purchase decision. So before, there is also a gap between the purchase intention and the real purchase. Between the intention as well as the real purchase also, there may be some factors like blocking about the purchase or inducing about the purchase, right? So those things that we have to take into concern. And plus to that, after the purchase also, there is some behavior that they are exhibiting with. That is called as post-purchase behavior. When they are satisfied, what are the actions that they are going to take? When they are dissatisfied, what are the actions that they are going to take? Right? So these sort of things have to be really studied. Right? So of course, this process is a lengthier one. Therefore, I will take it in my next lecture. Okay then. So, if possible, we will have the lectures on Monday 1:30. Monday 1:30, is it okay? That depends on my schedule, right? So I am not still known what is there for me on Monday at 1:30. If there is no any special schedule for me, then I'll be able to take it at 1:30 on Monday. For you, whether it is okay? Students, whether it is okay or not. Shortcuts. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. 1734. From MS, yes, ma'am. Two com students have said okay. MS. So, Monday lectures, the MS you all don't come, let the com come. Okay, so I will be giving access only for the commerce students. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Recording